regrets. I'm blessed to say the old me dead and gone away.
Hello and welcome. I am Laon, a certified life coach and addiction recovery coach that teaches you manifestation so then you can manifest the life of your dreams. If you are new here, I do offer any kind of one-on-one coaching services, text coaching, subliminals, custom affirmations. All of that will be in the drop box down below. I also want to invite you, if you want to come join me over on my Instagram, because I've been writing poetry and then taking that poetry and posting it on my Instagram. So if that's something that you are interested in, go follow me over there. Again, all of that is in the drop box below. Let's dive into this video. One thing that has happened lately is I had a video go viral about this one specific topic, and I've had a couple clients come to me like, Laon, this is one of your best videos. Like, it really made things click for me. So I figured I would make a long form content video about it so then it can click for you guys over here on the YouTube. So what we are going to talk about today is embodying the state and what that actually is. It's not as complicated as it might sound. It's not as complicated as it might presently feel when you are trying, keyword there, trying to embody this state. So I'm going to break down everything. What is a state of consciousness? It's who you are. It's infinite possibilities of different perceptions you can take on, different belief systems you can take on, different thought patterns and feelings. All of that comes in a state of consciousness. In each state of consciousness, you have its own past, you have its own future possibilities in the present moment. In each present moment, we are shifting between different states of consciousness, the ebbs and flows of things, okay? It's a very seamless thing. It's not like all of a sudden, 1 minute you close your eyes and you open them and you're in a different state and in a different county, in a different bedroom, in a different body. That's not, that's far-fetched, okay? That's not actually what it is. A state, when you are shifting in between them, is, again, it's very free-like, right? You don't even notice that you're doing it, yet you will be able to notice once you have this awareness of what I'm going to teach you right now. You will have the awareness to understand, oh, I fell out of the state, and what that means. So when we are manifesting something, we are actually making a change within ourselves. And because we are changing ourselves, our belief systems, our thoughts, our feelings, and so on and so forth, it's actually changing our state of consciousness. Okay, we can decide this is who I am now. This is the version of me that I am. And when we make that decision, we have declared this is now who I am internally, right? And that will shift us automatically, instantly, into this new state. Now, even though things might not reflect instantly in our reality to symbolize, hey, we're in a new state, internally, that's going to show us where we are at. So say if we are manifesting a specific person, we want a romantic partner, and we are in the state right now of lack, of not having. We're feeling lonely, we're feeling sad, we're feeling upset, we're feeling like we always fail in relationships, we're not feeling good enough, we have low self-worth, okay? That's the image that a lot of us, when we're first starting out in this manifestation game, that's where we start off at. Well, we want to get to the state of consciousness opposite of that. And it's going to be different, a little bit different for everybody, but around the same basis, right? So the state opposite of that is someone who knows their worth, knows that they offer a lot in a relationship, knows how valuable they are. They're always chosen. They're loved unconditionally. They think about relationships in a positive way, in a romantic way, in a I'm a hopeful romantic kind of attitude. They aren't going out looking for love because they are giving it to themselves. They have that self-respect. They're mature. They're not allowing their past to hold them back from a new love, right? So again, it's going to be different, a little bit different for everybody, but this is just the example. So you see how from one extreme to the other extreme, how different the states are going to be, right? How you're kind of like leveling up. It's not a horizontal thing. You're going to be leveling up, right? So to go from state A of the undesired, think about what thoughts you're thinking. I fail at love every time. Love sucks. Nobody ever likes me. The people that I want don't want me. Why can't love be easier? It's so hard. Oh my God, my heart's always broken. I feel so alone. And then it creates the feelings of sadness, separation, loneliness, right? So that all comes from the state. When you start to contemplate what it's like to be in a new state, as a new identity, a new version of you, you're naturally going to start contemplating, well, what would I be thinking? If I was already in an amazing relationship with either a new love or a specific person that I want back, what would that feel like? What would I be thinking? What would my behaviors be like? And you start contemplating these things, right? Your perception naturally begins to change. So you start looking at things in your reality a lot differently, right? So when we are thinking about who we would be, that instantly is thinking from the point of view of that new state of consciousness, right? So you'd start thinking thoughts like, wow, I'm just grateful that I actually found the person I want to be with. Like, this relationship is so amazing. I'm so happy I did this work on myself. So then now I can, have an amazing relationship and I never have to worry anymore. I'm totally in control of myself, my feelings, my reality. Like, life is just really good. Your thoughts begin to change. And then because your thinking pattern is changing, so do your feelings. You're feeling a lot more relief. You're feeling a lot more relaxed, happy, joyful, so on and so forth, right? So there, you see the difference between the two states, state A, state B. Now, it might seem a little far-fetched to say, I'm going to be in state A and I'm going to jump into state B and it's going to be just instant, right? To say that my entire life is going to transform because I've decided I'm new self. It will, but it's a very natural process, right? It's not about holding yourself into a state. It's about returning to the state that you want. So naturally, once you start to contemplate what it's like to be in state B, the one where you have it all, you're fulfilled, your wish is fulfilled, all of that, you have your relationship, that's going to feel really good. It's going to pick you up, right? If we're daydreaming about it or having visuals come to us, if we're scripting about it, kind of puts a smile on your face and makes your body a little bit lighter, right? It feels pretty good. Well, when you're going throughout your day, you might notice that you see something in your 3D that maybe it triggered you a little bit and it knocked you out of the state. Now you're back down into state A, right? You're feeling like a little yucky, a little anxious, a little, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like this. Well, guess what? That used to be your dominant state. That's how you used to feel all the freaking time. So it's our job when we feel like that to not get stuck in the rut of what's familiar, to break free and go back into state B. Make that decision and declaration, that command again. That's all we have to do. And that, again, instantly shifts us into state B. Even though we might not be feeling that happiness, that joy, maybe we're just feeling neutral. Maybe we're just feeling like, okay, it's okay. And I know I made that decision. I can walk myself back through this and back into state B to where I know my wishes are already going to be fulfilled. I know it has to happen because I'm making that decision, okay? That is our job, is to return. When we fall out and you start feeling yucky or you're getting random thoughts, it's not to run from those things. This is part of the human experience, is to feel our emotions, to have these thoughts come to us, because it allows us to figure out, when we have that awareness, right? It allows us to figure out where we are going, right? Where we want to be. So when you have quote unquote negative thoughts, or nothing negative or positive, we give it the meaning. But say you start having some limiting beliefs come up, some negative thoughts come up, and it's starting to make you spiral and feel yucky. Okay, instead of looking at that and fearing, oh my God, this is what's going to manifest. No, look at it like, okay, that's one quantum possibility. That's one potential reality that I could go to if I attach myself to that story. Or instead, I can decide what I do want instead and start contemplating, all right, so if that's not what I want to feel like, what do I want to feel? If that's not the thoughts I want to think, what do I want to think? And as soon as you start contemplating it, you become that version instantly, right? Your consciousness shifts to the point of view of the person who would already be that version of you. infinite possibilities exist. That's why we are able to shift seamlessly between states. Usually we don't have the awareness to acknowledge when we fall out of a state. We just sit with the uncomfortable feeling of anxiety, the uncomfortable feeling of depression and sadness and hurt and anguish and pain and suffering. We didn't know how to get out. And it sounds way too simple to think, oh, I just got to make a decision to not feel like this. I have to make a decision to think new thoughts. Make a decision to believe in different beliefs. That seems a little far-fetched, right? But no, that's the truth. It's really just that simple. We don't need to complicate it. So a way that we can start to embody the state also, it's not about physically going and doing things and having these behaviors of somebody who, is living this life, right? Because, the question in the video that went viral was, I would be doing this if I had if I had the embodiment of this. Right? So if I'm this version of me in a relationship, obviously I wouldn't be at home sitting here waiting for my person. I'd be out on a date with them. Just an example. Or say, if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be pinching my pennies and trying to save up enough money to even afford food. Okay, it's not about going out in the physical 3D and spending the money or going and doing these things or texting the person that you want to be talking to, because those are the things that you would be doing if you were actually this version. It's about the internal movement first. You have to be the version of you and start perceiving your reality and feeling and thinking more dominantly, right? Making that decision time and time again. If you fall out, if you notice that you fall out, returning to that state and going back to the decision, right? And then naturally you'll just start to really detach from your 3D and recognize it doesn't matter what I do out here. It doesn't matter even what's going on. It doesn't matter the circumstances. I really don't give a shit because I'm new self. I know that this is going to work out, and it creates this knowing feeling. Neville Goddard called this the Sabbath. It doesn't matter the word. You don't get wet by the word water. It doesn't matter what you say or what you call it. It matters who you are being, right? And you get this knowing that this is who I am. And because I know who I am, it's going to get pushed out. I'm going to experience this in my reality. I'm going to experience this in my life. It has to. Because if I experience the shit with the shit mindset, then I have to experience the good with a good mindset, right? State of consciousness, mindset, same difference, right? So it's making that transition, but not having to take action in our 3D. One thing I will say, you can never fuck up your manifestations. You just can't. So even if you were to take action in your 3D, it's not the action that you took somehow, some way. That's the unfolding of your manifestation. But we want to have that little bit of self-control and discipline to understand, wait, everything will just pursue me. I'll be like a magnet and just drawn to me because I'm new self. It has to match me. So it's not about taking action or behaving like this person. And one example that I gave my client to, if you feel like you need to do things in your 3D, I gave this example to my client about, say if I was going to the store and I'm manifesting a specific person and I'm feeling maybe a little off, just not in it, right? And I want to have fun. I want to get myself back into that state of consciousness, like I'm with somebody. I have a partner. What I would do is if I walk into a store and I see flowers, I'd look at it from the point of view, not that I'm actually going to go physically buy those flowers. I'm going to look at it at the point of view of, oh man, I'm going to get flowers for my girl. I'm going to pick out those ones. Ooh, the yellow ones. I know she loves yellow. I'm going to get those yellow ones. Sweep her off her feet. I'm going to go into that perspective, right? That train of thought. And because I'm doing that, it's going to make me feel some relief. Like, yeah, she would love that. And because she loves that, I would love that. Right? So it's things like that. If it's regarding money, it's not about going to the store and buying these expensive things. It's about looking around and having the point of view of, I can afford you. I don't give a shit if you're $1,000. I can go into the Gucci store or the Michael Kors store and go pick out any purse and walk around from the mindset. You can look at it. You can window shop, but do it from the mindset of, yeah, I definitely buy that. I'll come back for that one. I'm just not ready. I don't want to carry it right now. but I'll come back for it. Go play around with it. And again, that's embodiment. That's taking on the mindset of the version of you, the perception of the version of you who has these things. Even though physically we aren't going out and buying these things or texting the person or picking up the flowers and delivering it to the person, in our imagination, we're playing as that role, right? So another thing that got brought up, this can be a longer video, guys. I hope you're excited about it. But another thing that got brought up in regards to this is, but Laon, I'm embodying the state, yet my 3D isn't showing anything. For one, we don't confirm what our 3D is doing. We just automatically, no matter what movement we are or aren't seeing, we decide, I'm seeing movement, I'm still getting what I want, somehow, some way. This is the unfolding of my manifestation because I am new self, and I'm going to continue to decide to be new self. That is key. Because as soon as you decide, my 3D isn't showing me anything, it's not really changing, guess what? State you're in. You've just made that declaration. You just made that decision. What state do you think you're going to be in? So we don't want to do that to ourselves. Okay? Just be the version and focus on us, who we need to be. Detach from the 3D and the circumstances that are playing out. But the main thing that gets brought up a lot is, Laon, my 3D isn't changing, but I'm embodying new self. What do I do? Well, for one, like I just said, change that mindset. For two, recognize my 3D is like a movie. Okay? You have created this movie. You are the writer, the director, the actors, actresses, all of it, right? You play the producer, you play every single part, right? If your 3D is like a movie, every movie has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? And then you decide, I'm going to play the next movie. You already picked out the next movie by embodying the new state, by embodying the new identity, your self-concept. You've already decided what the next movie is going to be. You're in love. It's a passionate, loving story of how two people came back together and where you met somebody and it's so amazing and you're so in love and you're getting the princess treatment and being respected. You're a millionaire. You got all this money. You're buying this new house. You already know the next movie, right? You already written it. You already produced it. Now it's just time for it to air, right? What you'll notice in the 3D is the end of the last movie needs to wrap up, right? The final credits, the final scenes, right? So just because we wrote out a whole nother movie and we expect for it to happen, we know it's going to happen, well, let the 3D wrap up the last movie, right? So even if it looks like, again, we give everything meaning, looks like everything is going to shit in your 3D and circumstances are coming up that you weren't expecting because you've been new self, look at it like, oh, it's the final scene. Cool. That means the next movie's going to play. It means I'm going to get what I want no matter what. Interesting. Because I am that I am no matter what, right? So let it do its final scene. Let the credits play out. Let it go out on a bang if it wants to. Who cares what the 3D is doing? Because as soon as that movie is finished, your new movie is about to air. You have that new beginning, right? So it's our job to look at that 3D movie, the old story, the old man, and look at it and recognize, hey, I acknowledge you for what you are. You're wrapping up. You're the old story wrapping up. You're my old beliefs, my old assumptions, my old state. Okay, finish, because I'm playing a new movie and I'm ready for it. And be detached from it. Instead of attaching ourselves to it and reacting, oh my God, my whole world's falling apart. No, I'm not going to get what I want now. But I've been new self. And, oh, what does this mean? Look at it for what it is. One quantum possibility wrapping itself up because you're shifting and deciding time and time again and returning to your decision to be a new self. Detach from the 3D and recognize, hey, I'm over here, you stay over there, okay? And it's that simple, guys. So to wrap all of this up You decide who you want to be. Doesn't matter who you were previously. It doesn't matter the circumstances that you have experienced previously. Nobody and nothing can tell you who you are. You decide right now, I am who I am, and that is enough. You're not trying to fix or heal yourself. You're just deciding, I'm letting that version of me go and declaring my new self, my new identity, my new version. And as soon as you do that, you decide, I am who I am. No matter what. You continue to return to that decision if you feel you have fallen out, if you start having yucky thoughts, if you start feeling yucky, start having old memories come up. You look at that as, hey, that is one quantum reality that I'm detaching from. I don't need to fear that. I acknowledge those thoughts, those memories. That was one version of me that experienced that, but I'm a new version of self, so I don't need to worry about it. And then make that decision again. Even if you don't feel better, you still do it. Because every time that you make that decision, you cement yourself further and further and deeper into your new reality. Okay? After that, if you notice things in your 3D going a little sideways, we don't judge it. We don't declare that there's no movement or that, this isn't what you want. We acknowledge, okay, cool, that's one quantum possibility. That's the last scenes of the last movie, the old story wrapping up. I'm over here in my new story knowing that it's about to premiere. It's about to take right off. It's going to be award-winning. That's how spectacular it's going to be. Because I continue to be new self. I continue to make that decision. So it has to play. Right? We don't know when it's going to play. We don't know when the last scenes are going to wrap up the old story. That's not for us. We just continue to be the version of us that has the manifestation already internally. We don't have to do things in the 3D. We can never fuck up our manifestations. And that's that, guys. So, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so then you don't miss any further content coming out. I am going to continue to post regularly. And if you do want to follow me on Instagram and read all of the poetry that I'm going to try to do it daily and post different poetry that I have written on the daily over there on Instagram. If that's something that you're interested in, please go follow me over there. I would much appreciate your support. If you do want help, like I said in the beginning of the video, I offer one-on-one coaching services, subliminals, affirmations, all of that fun stuff. But as always, guys, please, please, please detach from your 3D. Make that decision of who you are. Think, feel, and show up as this version internally, not worrying about anything externally, and just be that version of you now. And as always, you got this.